Welcome to the SAP HANA Academy. My name is Bob, and in this video we'll be looking at using SAP HANA MDX providers on any views you build which contain hierarchies. In this series of two videos, we're going to be creating attribute views which contain hierarchies and then looking at that data within Microsoft Excel using an MDX provider. We'll be creating the attribute views within the SAP HANA Studio. So in the previous video, we created two views. One was an attribute view which contained a hierarchy, and then we created an analytic view which consumed that attribute view which contained the hierarchy. In this video, we're going to be doing some work with the MDX provider in Microsoft Excel so we can visualize the data. Now, before we actually go on to MDX, let's review what we've got in those views. So the first thing we need to do is launch the SAP HANA Studio. And let's go and have a look at those two views. So if I go into my catalog, my content folder, and drill into my STS package, you can see that I've got an attribute view here called STS Attribute Hierarchy View. Now this hierarchy view consists of 4 dimensions. So it's a product ID, and the hierarchy consists of the product name, category name, and the line name. So I added these columns into the view, and then I built this hierarchy. I'll just show you what that hierarchy looks like. There we go. So we can drill from line to category and then to product. Once we did that, then we built an analytic view called STS Analytic with Hierarchy View. And this one essentially consumed that attribute view. So we can see that here if I go to my data foundation. So the data foundation, we use the fact table as the data source, which contains 2 measures, quantity and net sales. We also included a product ID. The reason was so that we could join the product ID or the product hierarchy, which is here, as you can see by the name here. We then joined via product ID back to our fact table with the 2 measures essentially. And then essentially we just outputted that data, the 2 measures and the hierarchy. Of course, then I'm able to go and view that data. So this is what the data actually looks like by going to raw data. So you can see we consist of an ID, the hierarchy, and simply quantity and net sales. So we don't really need the HANA Studio now. We're going to do the rest of the work within the Microsoft Excel, and we're going to use the MDX provider. So I'm going to launch Microsoft Excel. And what we need to do is connect via ODBC or MDX to our data sources. So we go to the Data tab, and we're going to choose From Other Sources. And you can see here there's a few options. So one of the options is I can use ODBC to connect, and I can connect by connecting to my HANA database. Now this is nothing special, but I'm just showing you that this is technically possible. If I log in with my system user, you see here I can connect to my various tables and scripts, so on and so forth. But this isn't really what we want to do. We want to use the MDX provider. So we do this by again going to, oops, I'll just close that. We do this by going to From Other Data Sources, and we're going to choose from the Data Connection Wizard, and we'll choose Other Advanced, and we're going to choose the SAP HANA MDX provider and click on OK. So the first thing we need to do is log in. So I'm going to log in with HANA as my host name, the instance number, then my login and password for my HANA instance, We don't need to worry about language, and then I can click on OK. So what will happen is I'll be presented with my analytic views. So I can actually access the data in all of these views, but I won't be able to utilize any hierarchies unless we've actually included an analytic view with a hierarchy. So I'm going to choose the one that we built, which was this STS analytic with hierarchy view, and click on next. You can give it a name, so I'm going to call this my data connection, and then I'll click on finish. It'll then prompt you for a place where it's going to put this report, so I'm going to click on OK. I'll be prompted to log in again, although of course you can cache this if you so require. There's many authentication methods available within SAP HANA. And then you'll see here we've got a pivot table. So what you can see on the right hand side is the elements of that view. So of course we have our two measures, and here we have access to our hierarchy. So first I'm going to go and select the measures. So I'm going to select net sales and quantity, so you can see how that works. But then I'm also going to select that product hierarchy. So there you can see the impacts the product hierarchy has. It enables me to drill on the various aspects of the nodes. So for example, I can drill into sports, and then I can drill into ski products, so on and so forth, just by single clicking. So this drilling, which is like a pivot table, is available using that MDX provider. Of course, because the data is actually in Excel, we can utilize some of the Excel pivot table features. So for example, I can select the line name, and let's say I want to filter on a specific line name. I can go and select here a specific line. So I can select what I want to filter on here. So I can say, well, I don't want to include any none, so I can deselect that, or I can say I want to deselect any electronics, and then click on OK. And you can see here that the filter will be applied to the data set by applying these filters. So again, as all the data's in Excel, we can actually build some nice charts. So if I want to focus, for example, I'm going to go and put back my category, that other category. So I'll select electronics. There we go, we've added it back. So you'll see here in Excel you've got pivot table tools, and I can go to the design tab, and you've got, if I select pivot table tools, I can go and select in the options a pivot chart. So I can then choose what type of chart I want to build. So I'm going to build just this one, which is a 3D column. Click OK. And there you can see this is a very, very simple report that you can build. And again, the main thing I'm trying to show is that all the functionality in Excel is available to that data, which is live in your SAP HANA database. So that's a very simple demo on how you can use attribute views with hierarchies and analytic views, and you can utilize that data with using the MDX provider within Microsoft Excel. Thanks for watching. You can see more videos at academy.saphana.com.